right, you all. Welcome to the first episode of Devs Like Us. This is going to be the start of a great community for the developers. And so I'm going to start by doing introductions. JB, you want to start?
Sure. So I'm Jasmine, aka JB. I am a research computer scientist, and I'm a double alumni of Norfolk State University.
Awesome. Okay, Clarence.
Hi, I'm Clarence Edmonds. I am currently labeled as a network security analyst, but I serve as a developer for my team, doing automation for a lot of their processes and just trying to do a lot of migration type stuff for them and just make life easier for them. I am also a double alumni of Norfolk State University, but just a totally different path. Yeah, I guess my background is computer science with the concentration in computer engineering, and then I got a master's degree in electronics engineering.
Awesome. So okay, we have two Norfolk State alumni, and I guess I'll keep the streak alive. So my name is Terrence. I also graduated from Norfolk State University, both undergrad and for my master's. So I have a bachelor's in computer science and also a master's in computer science. And these are my two friends from school as well. So we're in the trenches together, doing the late night coding projects, working on trying to get out. And we just thought, as long as we get out, we were good. But we were able to go out and see that there was a lot more learning to be done. So the reason we wanted to start this community was to be able to represent developers that are like us and those who come from different backgrounds, both formally within school and not in school, those that took non-traditional paths as well. But just to have a developer community where we're able to lean on each other's experiences so we can just become more successful. So where do we want to start, you all? How's everyone doing? Like, how's everyone doing with the quarantine life?
It's going pretty good. Packed on some weight. I've got a few strands of gray hair, but I'm working through it. I think at the beginning I was a little confused and just concerned, and now I'm really just trying to focus on channeling good energy and coming out of all of this with positive habits and just overall a better routine.
So we're talking, how many pounds we're talking, Clarence? We're talking about, 2.5, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15, a solid 20.
I think it's definitely a solid 10. I don't know about a solid 20.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
I didn't raise up too high, but even though it doesn't look that way on the scale, the mirror says otherwise.
I hear you. That. We definitely have to do a work-life balance episode. That's definitely need to come down the line soon, because quarantine is definitely a whole nother beast when it comes to staying fit. Yeah. JB, how's everything going?
Everything's pretty cool. Unlike Clarence, I've been working out. This quarantine has gotten me outside the house, and running and things. So it's a little tough, getting back into it, but other than that, I'm good. Like Clarence, trying to keep the positive vibes going, and trying to build my development portfolio while I'm at home. So, yeah.
Just a side note, she hasn't run in like 10 years.
What do you think, Clarence?
She hasn't ran in like 10 years. Just a side note.
So we all are on the Fitbit app, and Clarence does get a lot of miles in. JB, when you were doing your refereeing, you were beasting, but your numbers did kind of go down.
Well, Clarence is out here doing, doubles, too hot outside to be doing dope.
I think that was he doesn't say it, but I think he is out going hunting.
I might be.
When his 7-day average was over 100K, I'm like,
Yeah. Who's doing that many steps, really?
Hey, I just remember the last challenge that we did. Terrence he had me up at like midnight walking so that I could beat him, and I still couldn't beat him. So now I'm just trying to bring back.
yeah, I need to get that back. But when I say like, if you don't lose it before the winter, it's scary. You got to get it with the gyms being closed with COVID. Got to get the weight down now. Have to
Yeah,
get it down now.
I think with the whole life change, the risk of going to the gym, I've seen a lot of people have, made their way back. And I'm pretty sure just like a lot of other people, it's just, you don't know how to feel. You don't know, what risk you're taking going. And, I don't know about y'all, but walking around the grocery store with a mask is hard enough. So I can't see being on a treadmill. You might as well just pick me up, go ahead and throw me in a wheelbarrow and drag me out of there.
It is rough. I definitely walk a little bit slower with the mask on, but it's worth it. Everyone wear your mask.
Yeah, yes.
PSA.
So all right. So what do we want to hit next? Do we want to hit why did we get in development, or do you guys want to kind of discuss what you would like to see out of this community? As far as like, what are your goals to get out of devs like us? What is your vision? So I'm gonna leave that up to y'all. Y'all want to start with the vision for devs like us, or why you got into development?
I like it as a 2-part question.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a two? I need to break this up. We have to separate.
I know, but it sounds like
You're messing up my notes, Clarence.
I'm sorry. I just feel like when you talk about why did you get in development, I feel like it's easy to ride that line to start explaining on what you wanted to become. So that's why I said Mike could be a 2-part question.
That's why you didn't just stick to computer science. You had to do science and engineering. Side note, everyone, Clarence left us. We were all on a computer science track. Clarence had to be difficult, take extra classes, do hardware stuff.
And look where I'm at. I'm back in development. Would you?
Hello.
Total life change. Maybe it'll be brought up in a later episode, or who knows, maybe at the end of this one.
Exactly. All right, Clarence, you got your 2-part question. What would you like to get out of this community as we start to build devs like us, and why did you get into development?
So what I would like to see become of devs like us is just I feel like we are definitely a underrepresented community as far as blacks in computer science or even just in development. I have joined other like groups to kind of like meet up with other devs, but kind of looking around the room and you don't see anybody that kind of looks familiar to yourself. It's kind of intimidating. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's still fun, all fun and just, developing your skills and, just expanding your skill set. So like, I think for me, the biggest thing is just to grow as a community and just kind of feel comfortable with who I am and what I do, and just kind of bridging that gap between, who I am and who others are just like me that are, kind of might be feeling, kind of the same.
So can we pause there, Clarence? I think you said something I really would like to highlight.
What's that?
So when you said you want to feel comfortable with yourself, do you feel uncomfortable as a developer, software engineer, like or a computer engineer? Do you sometimes not feel comfortable as a developer?
I think whenever, at least for the working environment that I'm in now, and I don't really see a lot of me being developers, a lot of people I've talked with, they've kind of, toy with the idea of becoming developers. I know for me, I've just become an advocate of, people learning how to code and just, make your day-to-day easier by automating things. So I think some cases it is kind of uncomfortable just because, you walk in a room full of developers and you look around and, you're the only one. You don't know how that's perceived, and you don't know like what kind of, like what kind of level your voice is heard because of that. And I mean, I guess the best way to put it is you always walk in, hopefully everybody's equal, but in some cases, that might not always be the case depending on, the environment that you're in.
Okay, great. So for some background, do you growing up in high school and before high school, before you went to college, were you in the majority or the minority, the majority of your life before college?
Well, before college, I would say, oddly enough, so maybe not even development, but as far as technology itself, I was definitely in a majority. One of the classes that I took, where they kind of toy with the idea of multiple technologies, but also hands-on trades. It was a lot of people who looked like me, that were also just kind of interested in, as far as like testing the waters and kind of seeing like how can I tinker with things and kind of develop it as a skill overall.
Okay. And how did when you did see developers, engineers that did look like you, what did that do for you?
It definitely gave me a sign of hope. I think, I guess like for me, it definitely opened my eyes up to know that I stand a chance. That because there aren't a lot or weren't a lot, it shows that there's a slope of change. People who are shifting, their mindset and how they want to, further their knowledge and development, or I should say, computer science. So definitely it was a good feeling. I think it was definitely inspiring. And it was just kind of like, I felt like it was a pass the torch moment, as, here we are, this is what we've done. And, here's where we all want to go. And, just taking that and, again, passing the torch to hopefully, bring others in and kind of show them, it's pretty cool, doing what we do.
Okay. So representation is important. Seeing people that look like you is important. JB, you want to add anything to that? How do you feel about that? Is representation
Um,
important, or were you going to do it regardless? Regardless if you saw women in tech, regardless if you saw people of color in tech, were you going to do it regardless, or did you have representation that you saw earlier on that helped you kind of like keep the faith and keep pushing?
Me, I really didn't see many women in tech or many people of color in tech growing up. And I really had no background or insight into the tech space growing up until I decided on what major I wanted to do and got to college. And then it's like most of my professors are women and they're women of color. And so it's like, okay, maybe I can really do this. And for me, that interest came from the fact that way back in the day when we were just running on DOS, my mom brought home a computer and I would sit there for hours on it, and I was like, okay, this is pretty simple. I was able to figure out a bunch of things while I was using it, and later on in life,
You never told me this story. I
well,
thought were you programming on
no,
that?
I won't say
Were
like
you
full
hacking?
fledged. No, but no, you're not gonna ask me that question and then out here for people to
Because our
judge.
first semester, our first computer science, I thought you were picking up kind of fast. That's why I wanted to know if you were hiding something from
No,
me. That was the first
I
time.
actually had no insight into computer programming. This was just all low level commands and learning about that process. And my mom basically asked me later on, was like, "Well, what do you want to be when you grow up?" I was like, "I want to work with computers and like video games. Maybe I'll do video games." And so after that, my mom basically it's like, well, let's explore the computer space. And I did a lot of research into different fields for computer scientists. Well, no, just different fields in computers. And later decided that I wanted to be a computer scientist. And got to college and I loved it. And so I pretty much just stuck with it from there.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Yeah, I definitely did not know your origin story. Is that what we can call it? Your developer origin story?
Yeah. That's where I started from the mud.
Okay, so representation is important. So Clarence, let's go back to you so you can finish with your two-part question. I know you started off with the first one, with the first part, as in discussing why you got into development. So you can finish up on that and also discuss what you would like to see out of the community. I know you started halfway through it.
So what got me into development? So funny enough, at my high school, we didn't have a lot of computer courses. Like the only real computer course that I remember is typing, and that was about it. I mean, there might have been a few like small classes, but it didn't really give you like a lot of insight. And so for me, growing up, I grew up on a farm, and my dad always told me to get a job, on the inside, because I would thank him more later, than work with my hands. But so with that said, I was the only kid that stayed on the computer all the time. My brother fussed at me because I didn't really share a lot. But with that, I gained interest in tinkering with computers. Again, I did a class that kind of toyed with different type of trades, but one trade was robotics and technology. So doing a little bit of low level programming in that kind of really sparked my interest. And we had a guy come to our high school from Norfolk State that told us about the program and how they had computer engineering. And from growing up of just always breaking stuff and trying to fix it, I figured computer engineering was just perfect for me. And so, funny enough, I hated development in college. If you asked anybody, they would tell you, I would say, it's not for me. I don't want to do it. I can't see how people, do this.
Well, why would you
hated it.
go to the bits? Why would you go down to the lower level?
I
Yeah,
just, I just,
that
Registers
makes
and all
sense.
that.
I mean,
You
it
good
was, but that
solve
was different.
the computer architecture class. You definitely showed out.
Yeah, I really understood that part, but when it came to C++, and I think Java was a class that I definitely felt like I kind of thrived in, but C++ and C, I struggled. I could not understand why we needed to change the color of that circle or that square. It just did not make any sense to me.
And then I got into the real world and found Python, and I was just like, wow.
Exactly.
It's so simple, man.
Oh
So
man,
simple.
don't. That's another episode because I will rant.
Hun-
I will tell anybody Python should have been taught any over all of those other ones. But that's just my rant.
All them lines of code, I could just throw it, and be
Mm-hmm.
done with it in a one line.
Exactly.
Like quick
Exactly.
lambda all of the day.
Yeah.
See, but I feel like that Python would have had everybody becoming developers, which isn't a bad thing. But I think when you did the other languages, it definitely it pulled the strong from the weak.
Right. I mean, I kind of get starting out with like less features, so you have to really, really understand how things work. So I get it. I get it. I like a mix of both. Norfolk State did a good job though. I was prepared for
I
Yeah.
feel
most of it. You're not prepared. I don't think any institution can prepare you fully for on the job work, but I
The
got it. I
base
could.
is good.
I knew how to solve problems and to tackle um, get things working and know how things work. So it was good. What are you about to say, JB?
No, I was just saying that the base Norfolk State gave us the base for development. So even though we don't really use those languages that we learned in college that much now, um, having that background knowledge helps out a lot when you're trying to figure out how can I make this faster, and things like that as you're going through your development. So yeah.
For sure, for sure. All right, Clarence, what do you expect out of this community? What are you looking for? What's your vision? What do you see?
I see a group. I see one. I see us having a good time. Two, I see us, keeping it real and just, opening the eyes of those who don't know about, the deep end of software development or computer science. So I think what I mainly expect from this is to spark a lot of interest. Be down to earth for sure, but carry it so that people kind of see that we're not all we're not all geeks that wear glasses and sit in dark caves.
But you do
We're
have
normal
glasses,
people.
Clarence.
I
As
do.
people have
JB, you also
glasses.
have glasses.
I mean, but
So
I
2/3 of us are people are
You're all
geeks
cool
with
to me.
glasses.
if I stood up, you wouldn't see chip crumbs fall out my shirt. That kind of
before.
stuff.
Late night studying.
But
And
I
that
just want.
laugh.
You happen to have a pocket protector.
Yeah, I just want us to have fun, and I really want us to to break out of the stigma or just the stereotype of what a typical developer is, and I just really hope that we grab the attention of many.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay, JB, I know you got a little warm with your part. So
Um,
you kind of already started with your origin story, but if you're not finished, go ahead and finish up the origin story. How why you became a
because I
developer.
know where it started. I started from the bottom. Now I'm here.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
for me, I see us, developing a really solid community, and it's not only a place for us to, give insight to other people, but for us to also gain insight into new topics that we may have not delved into just quite yet. But as we progress and topics expand, it may require us to dive into those topics to learn about them, so that we can have these conversations about them and be really candid about them. And like Clarence said, definitely for us to have a good time. Because this is three friends, getting together and just having a real conversation about the development that we do on a day-to-day basis. And so yeah, that's kind of my insight of where I see us going.
I like it. I like it. For my first part, I did not know I wanted to be a developer in high school. Oddly enough, when I first, when I was a kid, I always loved video games. I always loved playing on a computer. Never truly like programmed. One time, it was more. I think it was really more of a love for hardware. I remember one time, me and my brother actually, our PlayStation broke, and then my brother took the eye for the CD reader off of another device, and then we put it back on that device, and then sure enough, it read the CDs and like started working again. So like that was probably like the first like at home project like with just technology in general. And so oddly enough, I wanted to be a psychologist when I like left high school. I was like gonna do therapy and everything, and then they were like, you got to go like to school for like a long time before you like can start your profession. I took the CSC 101. I think it was 100 or 101 class. I forgot.
100.
Yeah, so that was my
Yeah,
introduction to computer science, and then I don't know, just doing the print statements and doing your first function and like seeing output. That did something for me. So and
So I
then like
just want to interject here real quick, because you just mentioned the fact that you didn't do psychology because it would take a bunch of years. But you know, for those who don't know, you have your bachelor's, you have your master's,
I know
but you're
it's ironic,
still continuing to go to school
and I'm still in
and
school.
go to
Yeah, that's a
college.
long time, brother. That's a
Yeah.
long time.
Exactly. I don't know. Got to keep
I could
pushing.
kind of see that though. You know, I would have never known it other than in this introduction, but I could kind of see you doing that. You know, being a psychologist
You
and
have the voice
listening to
for it.
people.
I still like to like observe people and read it. So like when I'm out with my wife and like we're people watching and stuff, like I can read folks a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good trait to have.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, so I didn't actually get and started with development until I got into college. But I think I started but didn't finish. But with the origin story. So yeah, I told my mom like before I knew I wanted to be a psychologist. When they were like, "Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up, Terrence?" And I was like, "Fireman, police officer, NBA player, football player." I was like, "I want to be an inventor," and I'm like, "Who says that? Who wants to be an inventor?" And it was like, "Yeah, I want to build things, I want to make things." And then, you grow up and then you forget what you're saying. Then my mom showed me a paper. She was like, you said you wanted to be an inventor. And I'm like, oh, yeah, but I'm not doing that. She was like, are you not doing that? And I'm like, I guess I kind of am building things and like making things. So it's kind of funny how things kind of like sort of come full circle because like as a developer, as engineers, like we're building solutions. We are making things. So, but yeah, when I got to college, that's when I really knew like that I was just all in and said, hey, this is something that it was challenging. I wanted to, it's like lifelong learning, like regardless if you're formally in school or you're doing it self-taught, it's like so much that you can learn and you're always learning new things. And I think that's what I love so much about development. So, and for the second part, what I want to see out of this community, I think I want to be able to support others. I want folks to be able to ask questions, share experiences, and be able to learn from our experiences, from other folks in the community's experiences. I think we can eventually do conferences where people are coming in and speaking on topics and people having memberships to devs like us to where like they're getting newsletters and they're getting information. I feel like when it comes to building a community of support for developers, like it's endless. I feel like there's so much that we can do to help others to be successful and to reach their goals. I think we can help a lot of folks out by building and working together. So that's my vision in a nutshell. Should we go to the mission statement? We actually I force everyone to try to contribute to this mission statement. Can I say it, you all?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
sure thing.
Okay, so our official mission statement for now, and it might change, but this is what we have for now. Day one, providing a supportive community for developers of all kinds with a focus on the underrepresented in order to increase entry, retention, and success within the technical workforce. I like that.
That's
I
smooth.
think I think I like that. Should we read it one more time?
one more
Providing
time.
a
Go
supportive
for it.
community for developers of all kinds with a focus on the underrepresented in order to increase entry, retention, and success within the technical workforce. You all, Terrence has
Um,
had to write. I started out as a developer, but now I have to write. I have to write. You gotta write. You gotta be able
yeah.
to write.
Writing is good.
Yeah.
You know, ironic enough, I got into the computer science field because I didn't want to write, and then you get to
That is
college,
true.
and that's all you do. And so that was kind of a disappointing moment for me in college, but it prepared me for getting into the workforce and all the writing that comes along with that. Because as a researcher, you're not only a developer, but you're the person who's writing your own documentation and keeping notes and all that stuff. So it helps in that space.
Do I hear another episode topic? Technical writing, or is that going to be another one coming up?
I
Yeah,
think.
we'll let you lead it.
Yeah,
Because
you. That's your
you're,
expertise.
you're the real writer of the group.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just out here just jotting down notes and
Yeah,
I
things.
don't even take notes. I get fussed at all the time because I'm a clipboard guy, but I suck at taking notes. My clipboard
I
is
feel
only
like
for
you
my
don't even
to-do
write
list.
comments for your code. Like your code
Huh?
is just. I feel like you don't even write comments for your code. It's just
No,
all
ironically,
code.
I overcomment. My manager hates it, and I'm like, hey man, I'm just writing it so just in case.
That
I
is
want you
funny.
to know what I mean. But it
That-
is sad because I overcomment, and then when I get a bug, I wrote so thoroughly I don't know how to fix it, so it takes a little bit of time to figure out. It's like I know this note is supposed to mean something, but I just don't get it.
Yeah.
You all have to check if you haven't already. You definitely have to check the Pragmatic Programmer. They just came out with the latest version. I think it's the 2020 uh edition.
I
So
haven't
they
seen that
updated
version.
it. Yeah, they
Oh,
updated.
I'll check that
I
out.
said 2020, the 20th anniversary.
Okay.
Um, so, but yeah, they talk about comments on there. Self document. Got to self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
A lot of people don't. I think that's one thing we probably should talk about too. In a later episode, is that especially in the professional world, people do not comment, and I think
It
there are a lot of
sucks.
people who are very, selfish in that. I get it. Job security, but they have no intention of sharing knowledge or even helping you. In a time of something happens to them and you have to go back and fix it. They don't even consider that.
very true. Very true. All right. So we've learned a little bit about each other. We put a little bit out there between everyone on this episode. What we have 6 degrees.
Yes, sir.
You guys are
Going
super
on 7.
prestigious.
Going on 7. Hopefully 8 and 9 too. I'm trying to
Yeah,
convince another one.
you can have it. Have it. Go
I'll
after it.
try.
Yeah,
Um,
you guys, bring us in with these extra, 2 movies. Yeah.
right. All right. Did we hit all of our topics for episode 1? Episode 0?
I think
Yeah.
so. I
Intro.
believe so.
I think that gives people insight into who we are and our background and things, so they know why we're discussing the topics that we will be discussing in the future episodes and things.
Awesome. All right. What's the next episode going to be on? We're going to do on job search. We know why we want to be developers now. So getting the job,
I can see that.
interviews.
I can
We'll
see
talk
that.
about it. We'll talk about it.
I
I
guess
can see
so.
that.
Not putting you all on the spot.
No,
I
you
think I
definitely
think I think that definitely would definitely be a good kick to a series. Start off with interviews and then maybe go into another part where it's the day to day or kind of challenges or just overall what does the life of a dev look like.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. All right. Closing remarks, everyone. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm super
Um,
excited.
yeah, I'm super excited, and I just want to welcome everybody who's tuning in to the to this dev space, and we want to make sure that it's just a chill, laid back space for people to learn and grow and develop as they go along.
I
You're
think
in
I
there.
think I do think it's going to be pretty big. I hope that, as much as we gain from this, from each other, that other people kind of feel the same way. And they just, again, I'm a big person on, shedding light and kind of passing the torch. So, if it sparks the interest of folks, to, feel comfortable as being a dev or just, maybe it's that push that they needed to pursue development. They're kind of on the fence. They don't know, if it's something that they would like to do. I think that, hopefully this space will definitely, enlighten them and kind of just make them, realize that I could do this.
Yes, you can, Clarence. Yes, you can. All right. Last round. And any last remarks, anyone?
Do you
We're
have
done.
any remarks? I know we did a lot of
I'm
talking.
excited. I'm excited. Yeah, you
Terrence
guys can
has
ask. You
been
guys can ask me questions too.
the show host.
I like to get you all warmed up and talking. But yeah, so I'm excited. I'm glad to get things going. things can only go up from here.